Pranayama. Pranayama are the breathing exercises we do in yoga. With these exercises, we are controlling the breathing to essentially control the pran, or as some call it, prana. See, in the word pranayama, yama means control, and pran is what we are controlling. So now the question becomes, what is pran? What is the thing we are controlling? Well, in yoga, it is believed pran is the life energy that rises in on the breath when we inhale. Now, pran is not the oxygen and all the scientific stuff that rises in on the breath with pran, but rather pran is separate from all those things, whereas pran is life. See, for me, this separation became clear when I saw my dad take his last breath, who was a heavy smoker for 60 plus years. Now, to make a long story short, about a few weeks before he went into the hospital, where he eventually died, he was complaining he couldn't breathe because he couldn't breathe in deeply. And this made him feel like he was dying. He literally said, "I feel like I'm dying." See, he felt like he was dying not just because his breathing was limited, where he couldn't breathe in enough oxygen, but rather he felt like he was dying because he couldn't breathe in enough pran. He could not breathe in enough life. And if you can't breathe in enough life, well, you're going to feel like you're dying. Now, eventually he ended up in the hospital and was put into an induced coma. And he was on machines that were basically helping his body stay alive and basically helping him breathe. And even though he was in a coma, you could tell he was still there. You could tell pran was still there. Life was still there. But one day, days later, you could tell he was no longer there. Pran was no longer there. Life was no longer there, even though his body was alive. His heart was beating, his lungs were breathing, and so on. But there was no more life riding in on his breath, no more pran riding in on his breath. In other words, the machines could not pump in pran. The machines could not pump in life. And to make a shortened story even shorter, a few days later, based on conversations with the doctors, we decided to remove the machines. And when they were finally removed, his body basically continued the momentum of the machines. His lungs continued breathing, his heart continued beating, and then minutes later, his body finally slowed and then stopped. And at that time, his body died. But the pran was gone days before. Life was gone days before. So for me, this event put pran into perspective. And it made me understand pran as a real thing that we control in yoga, with breathing exercises in yoga, with pranayama. So the point and importance of pranayama, which I hope you could take away from my story, is that controlling and learning how to control our breathing in yoga is deeper than just breathing. It's deeper than just getting in enough oxygen. Rather, it's about giving ourselves life, giving ourselves as much life as we can, because pran is life, and pranayama is how we learn to control it. So be true, be you. Namaste.